pay taxes on your property's assessed value. So in 2012, Allegheny County underwent a countywide reassessment where the county went in and valued every single property. So if you haven't purchased your home, if you've done nothing to your home since 2012, your assessed value has presumably remained unchanged. Your property is assessed at what it would have been worth then. So then if you purchase a home after 2012 or later to it, you have to put on an addition, or there's demolish a portion of it, you can file, or the taxing bodies can file an assessment appeal. Whoever files it says that they're not being accurately assessed. So for instance, the taxing bodies, if I buy a house in the borough of Oakmont this calendar year for $100,000, but its assessed value is $10,000, I guarantee you Riverview School District would come in and file an assessment appeal and say that my property is over assessed because in light of the recent sale price, that $10,000 valuation obviously isn't accurate anymore. So there would be a hearing, and if the taxing body is successful, my assessed value would be raised to a certain number, and it would be raised to a certain percentage of that purchase price. And for 25, it's 52.7%. That's known as the common level ratio. The common level ratio is an annual statistic that's set by Harrisburg, and that's based off of data that's provided by the county. And what that does is it says what my property is worth today. By applying that common level ratio, it converts it back to what it would have been worth in 2012 during that reassessment. So if I have, like I said, in this hypothetical, if I purchase my house for $100,000 today and the school district's successful on appeal, my assessed value is going to be $52,700 or 52.7% of that purchase price. And so that's it, that percentage is adjusted every single year. And the only way that it comes into play is if you undergo an assessment appeal. So if Nancy hasn't purchased her property since 2008, and during the countywide reassessment, they came in and assessed it at $200,000, that's still at $200,000 unless Nancy files an assessment appeal and says that she's over assessed, or if she does something to her property, puts on an addition, and then the taxing bodies say, well, now it's worth $250,000. There was a significant decrease in the CLRs we called a few years ago. In 2000, 2001, it was like 86.2, 87.5%. A lawsuit was filed against the county and dropped it down to where we are at 52.7%, which provided a lot of property owners incentive to go ahead and file an assessment appeal and argue that they're over-assessed. So obviously an increase in the millage rate is how municipalities can combat that on that property. So if I purchase a new build for $1 million, I'm not going to be assessed at $1 million. I'm going to be assessed in theory at 52.7% of that, because that in theory is what that property would have been worth if that property had been built in 2012. I can almost guarantee you that there's been a great deal of property owners, both residential and commercial, that have filed assessment appeals in the last 2 or 3 years to reduce their assessed value. For instance, if I bought my house for $100,000 back in 2020, and there was an assessment appeal against it, I'm paying taxes at 87.5% of that sale price. My assessed value would be $87,500. So I have incentive to go and say, even if my property has appreciated in value over the last 3 or 4 years, let's say it's now worth 150, 52.7% of that is still going to be lower than what I'm paying on. And if you have commercial or industrial properties, that's where you're really losing money, because there has not been much appreciation, especially for office space, as we've seen in the city of Pittsburgh.